Buenos dias, wrestling fans. It's Total Spotfest. We have a big show for you. AEW Fyter Fest Night 2 and tons of stuff to unpackage from that. Big news on 2 top free agents, NXT news, a bunch of other stuff. This is Total Spotfest.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hola, hermanos. Welcome back to Total Spotfest. I am JJ Brownlee, accompanied by Jamie Faulkner, and we are back for our AEW review. It is Dynamite Fyter Fest Night 2.
It was Dynamite.
Dynamite. You're pulling me back, man. My first job, I remember I was like washing dishes, and the executive chef at the restaurant just could not get that out of his head. Do the thing. Dynamite. Yeah. All right. Anyway, for those of you over 35, you know what we're talking about. Everybody else is just like lost as all get up. So.
It's worth a Google.
It's really good. It is definitely a good time. So, hey, we're going to have a good time tonight here because Dynamite was unbelievable. We're going to talk about NXT as well last night. Some interesting stuff going on in the world of NXT and especially in the world of AEW. So thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it, like I always say. If you're watching us on YouTube, join the conversation. Hit a comment down below. If you would, hit that big like button. It does help us out quite a bit. And share us with your friends. If you're listening to us through your favorite podcast station, you can get in touch with us on Twitter at Total Spotfest.
Mm-hmm. We do respond. I promise.
Yep. Jamie is watching that like a hawk. I kind of help out, but he's watching that like a hawk. And I do respond to pretty much every comment that we get, mostly. Unless your sister's begging for tickets again, and then I just ignore her.
Yeah,
so.
She can't win. She cannot win.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Family is exempt, especially your family, because you birth monsters of pay-per-view pick. I'm still bitter about it. If you haven't watched our last episode,
birth champions.
I just got embarrassed again by a 15-year-old girl. It's
you're her bitch.
Megan's my daddy.
Megan 3 belts. Megan 3 belts.
Like, hashtag not my champion.
The ultimate Grand Slam next month. So be on the
lookout
lookout for that.
We're gonna skip right ahead here because we're not talking Impact. We save Impact for our Tuesday show. So AEW. First and foremost, big free agent news out there for AEW.
Holy shit!
Two names hit. I told Jamie this. I was like, we're just gonna roll and talk about the show. We'll talk about NXT briefly. We'll do a little bit and be done, easy peasy. And then all of a sudden, like lunchtime, I'm like, let me see. Holy, the news hit hard. So Jamie, why don't you do the first one, the one that I know you've been wanting to do for a while.
Yes, you get to do the other one.
I'll do the other one. Yeah,
but this one is all me. There are reports. Lots of them that Mr. Pepsi himself, CM Punk, is in conversations for an in-ring return with AEW.
All right. To be fair, it didn't flat out say AEW in the reports. It was surmised because the higher-ups in WWE, from what I'm reading here, the higher-ups in WWE believe it to be AEW. That's what I read. Mm-hmm. So it didn't actually say AEW on the nose of it, but that's the implication, strong implication.
And I know a perfect time for him to show up.
In his hometown, Chicago. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
Dude, if it, Cult of Personality hits, that place is gonna lose its roof. It's just gonna, it's gonna be structural damage to the Now Center. It's gonna go nuts.
I would lose my mind. Like I would legit lose my mind.
I mean, it'd be a moment. We talked about this in the past. Yes, I think CM Punk is generally overrated. I think he was great in a Ring of Honor, and then after that, not so much. He was okay.
He was amazing in Ring of Honor. And
he was phenomenal. Him and Joe still have some of the best series of matches probably in the past 30 years, to be honest. But
I'm on the other side of that coin, though, man. Like, He wasn't that great. Honestly, he was not spectacular in WWE until he had his pipe bomb
Until the
moment.
pipe
I
bomb,
know you
right.
don't like it, but it completely elevated him to a new level because he was talking real talk with the fans, and we got behind him so quick because we're like, yeah, that's some bullshit. Yeah, like, fuck the man. Like, he totally had that mentality, and that's what made him into this cult of personality
Right.
of WWE. And I thought he was overhyped before then, and then he met his hype, and then after that, like when he came back after leaving with the belt, I felt like it was just a little weird, but you could tell his frustration level was mounting every time you just see it on his face because he was not one to hide things on his face. But man, I think it's time because he sucked in UFC.
Oh, he was terrible. He was terrible in UFC.
He's 1-1 officially now.
Well, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, because the guy
sure,
tested
sure.
positive for drugs. But whatever. But anyway, it's time. AEW is a perfect spot for him because he'd have creative freedom. Come on, baby.
And he gets along
Let's
with
bring
every
it.
single person that works in AEW too.
Except for one.
I know. That's what I'm getting at.
Except for one. They may or may not have had some kind of legal issue between them.
I mean, that aside, and tell them who you're talking about. 'Cause
Yeah. Which also I find funny. Which I also find funny because that person is also a co-owner of Pro Wrestling Tees, and they sell a lot of CM Punk merchandise. I'm talking about one Colt Cabana.
I mean,
ladies
it
and
was a
gentlemen.
while ago. It was a while ago.
And they settled outside of it because they were best friends. Like,
well,
beyond best
they were
friends.
thick as thieves. They came up together. And yeah. Whatever's going on with that. I don't think that. And to be blunt, and I hate to say it because I am definitely a Dark Order man, toward Dark Order. I don't think that Colt Cabana would be a prevention from a business standpoint from Tony Khan and the EVPs from trying to get CM Punk. I don't.
I don't
End of the day, they tell Colt, suck it up and stay the fuck away from him at worst. At worst. But I don't know. I'm not going there. One thing, a couple things here. So first of all, and I want to get your take on this too. This is not the first song and dance with this routine that CM Punk has done.
Oh, absolutely not.
So I'm taking this whole thing with a giant grain of salt right now, especially because, like I said, it's not specifically outlined that he's going to go to AEW, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It is basically his. Talks have been had behind the scenes about an in-ring return. Like, that's vague as shit. That's really vague. Really vague.
100%.
But then you hear, like, well, so-and-so thinks this, and they believe that. And sure, and I heard a guy talk about, this is kind of what CM Punk does. he builds hype, and it's good for him because that's a smart thing to do. He stayed relevant and hasn't wrestled in, how long has it been now? 11 years?
It's been a while.
I don't even know how long it's been.
15 maybe?
Yeah,
16?
Yeah. And he's still shit, every time there's like signings and stuff, Wrestle Talk always is like CM Punk just, is like, it's always around, so kudos to him for that. So that's first of all, I just want to, before everyone just like, like go out and buy your AEW CM Punk gear, just hold on. And secondly, too, here's the thing. It has been like 12, 15 years, whatever the hell it is. I hope to God that he doesn't come in and go over Hangman and Jungle Boy and MJF and, all, Orange Cassidy, all the AEW stalwarts. He probably would.
So this is
So
Mark Stradamus. Mark Stradamus.
mm-hmm.
If they were to have him come in, it would follow right after Hangman Page wins the belt. Like instantly, right after Cult of Personality hits or whatever his theme song's going to be, because WWE no longer has the rights to that song.
Well, I mean, you get the rights from the band. You can write.
Yeah.
It's an actual song. That's easier to do than a song that. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. So I say that would be the time he comes out, and then they have a stare down, because it makes sense at that point for them to have a stare down. But here's the thing: I think it is more of introducing him. He does this thing, and then they do the long-term booking, and maybe have a match at Full Gear between those two. But still,
Right.
Hangman still wins, but it keeps him relevant, and he's always going to be in the top tier, no matter what. But I think it makes sense to bring him in right there, because then because what are they going to do? Have CM Punk show up on Andrade? I don't think so. I think it needs to be higher rated, because Andrade is still working his way up, even though you and I look at Andrade as main.
Well, yeah, and he'll get there eventually. We know.
Yeah,
that.
but you don't have CM Punk for that. You have CM Punk for the tippy top.
Well, I think to
and
introduce him
takes it to a whole nother level.
I think to introduce him, yes, and if that's the way you're going to go with it, cool. And then if you trickle it down, then afterwards is what you need to do.
Yeah,
because you can't put him in. If you put him in there and he stays at that top the entire time, first of all, it's basically what you did with Jericho, but it's warranted. Jericho more or less has his hand in. He's not. He's basically the fifth EVP without the title. He's doing so much work. So, and good on him. And he's got this wealth of knowledge too. If you're gonna take him and put him in that same spot without going there, you're basically gonna do to him. You're doing AEW's version of John Cena if that's what's gonna happen. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
and how ironic that would be. I laughed my ass off, but I don't want to see. That's the one thing I worry about, is that everybody gets so blind to CM Punk. He's the best of all time and all this stuff, and it was really not. That you can't see the forest through the trees, and you don't want to lose those who you invested in and they've been working on putting in that long term. So anyway, that's my only worry. That's my only thought about that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, we have these two free agents, and this one I definitely think has to come in at that top tier level. I really do. The second one could come in at the mid level and be just fine, because he doesn't need to, and I feel like CM Punk's ego is going to make him come at that higher level anyway. But it could set up the ultimate dream match, at least one of the ultimate dream matches for me, of CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. Like, holy shit, that would be a great match. And CM Punk's a good wrestler. You got to give me that. He's an amazing wrestler.
He was 15 years ago when he stopped wrestling, at least. I mean, that's a long I don't hate him. Okay, I don't have, X-Pot heat against CM Punk. Don't think that's the way it is. I don't even come out here with like the Cameron Grimes heat that you had, It's like I don't dislike the man. I really don't. I just don't think I didn't think he was that level. I thought he was always that second tier. Okay.
That's fair.
And like I said, he hasn't wrestled in, we should probably look and see how long it's been, but he hasn't wrestled in well over a decade. Kenny Omega is at the peak, the pinnacle of wrestling performance in the world right now. That's a bit of a difference.
It was 2014, his last match, so it hasn't been a full decade yet. 7 years.
Okay. Oh, only 7 years.
He's got the 7-year itch. Let's go.
7 years, though. I mean, he's in good physical shape. I mean, I've seen him on appearances.
Mm-hmm. And he's been working out. Like, I follow him on the grams and everything.
He's been trying the stuff, but it's different, I mean, you can get out there and you can practice all you want, but you get in there and you line up and you play football and you go up against, the 85 Bears defense or the Steel Curtain or Patrick Mahomes and his 8 million weapons. It's a bit of a difference, And it's the same thing for Kenny Omega. It's like, all right, it's like CM Punk, you're a linebacker for the Bears. You guys are playing the Chiefs this week. You're starting. Go sack Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. That's. Can you do it? Sure. He's going to be a little rusty though. So anyway, let's see what happens with that. Something that came out later in the day yesterday that's a little more finite, and this, I don't know if this surprised me or not. I mean,
A little.
somewhat. So, okay. And here's the grain of salt for this. So the report that I saw, everything is quoting Cassidy Haynes of bodyslam.net. I have no idea who that is or who they are.
Yeah.
Honest
Don't
to
know
God.
how they got this. Yeah.
I don't know how. So I'm not going to speak to it. This could be the most reliable source ever. I don't know. Okay. But according to him, the former Daniel Bryan, man who's actually Bryan Danielson, quote unquote, has found a new home. They reported that the former WWE champion is signed with All Elite Wrestling, with a source describing him as 100% locked in. According to this report, he has already signed a contract. He's officially with AEW. And I find this interesting in a lot of different ways. Okay, so the report goes on, and there's another report that kind of talks about it a little bit more detail. It says that the original debut is scheduled for September 22nd. The episode of AEW Dynamite called Grand Slam. That's the one in Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York City, right?
Yeah.
That's like you said, that's a fantastic time to pull him out. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're in WWE's backyard. That is their territory. Let's be honest. You know, that's where the WWF founded. Pulling one of the biggest WWE stars of all times. Yes, that'd be a great idea. Now, with the news of CM Punk, it's speculated that could be moved forward or backwards, depending on what their plans are with Punk. Because they don't want to shoot their load all at once.
Yeah.
You want to make you don't want to. And pandemic, things happen. But on one episode of Dynamite during the pandemic, they debuted the Exalted One, John Huber, and Broken Matt Hardy. Realistically, big things like that you want to space out. So I don't know. I mean, I had a thought about Daniel Bryan lately because, like I said, it's been a while. Everybody assumed that it's just a technicality, right? Oh, his contract's up. They're just going to iron out a couple things. He'll be back in a month, right? And that month came and gone. And then there's been nothing. They even stopped talking about him on WWE programming.
Yeah.
And I mean, the schedule, everybody says the schedule's a ton. There's no house shows, right? So there's it's a ton lighter for AEW. It's more conducive to a family man who lives on the other coast with 2 small kids and a wife. I think it would fit. I think I agree with you too that have him come in more as Christian-esque, right?
Yeah, help the younger guys.
Yeah, he's there to help younger guys. He's there to, I think maybe you put him on a big feud to start with, and then you pull him back and keep him back, right? Whereas CM Punk's going to want to be, center of attention every time he, comes into the fucking arena.
Yeah. No, and that's him. You hit the nail right on the head.
He's admitted it. I mean, it's true. It's okay. Yeah. You know who you are, and I think that, because even in WWE, he was happy going up and down with his feuds. He'd go from, the whole bit where he joined the Wyatt family. That was really, if you look at the ethos of his career, it's like, where did that come from? Well,
right.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts about Bryan Danielson in AEW? Because this one seems to be, at least if this source is to be trusted, which I have no idea who this person or who this website is.
Yep.
If the source is to be trusted, though, this is done. Like ink is dried, and he's just waiting to debut. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's a great move for AEW on a multitude of levels.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bryan Danielson, the people who know the name Bryan Danielson are going to geek out. Like me, the Dragon. Yeah. He's the Dragon. He's amazing. Ring of Honor, Daniel Bryanson was in a league of his own, really. I mean, him and CM Punk had some great wars there, speaking of.
Right.
But that's really going to get your marks like us. Marks like us are going to be really happy with that. Then the younger WWE defective type fans know who Bryan Danielson is because of the Yes movement and everything like that. So it's
Right.
going to get them, I think it's going to help them with a bigger share of fans because he is fresh from them. And it just makes a lot of sense for them to get somebody like that. It's a very smart and tactical move because, yes, he might not have a lot left in the tank, but damn it, he's got that name recognition that people know, and he was a big
He's a big draw
deal
up to the end.
Yeah,
I think the second aspect, to be honest with you, I think that's more the point, honest to God.
I do too.
Because, as much as you want to say, oh, we're not competing, we don't compete. Both of them are like, we don't compete with AEW, we don't compete with WWE. Bullshit. It's, yeah. I'm sorry. It's like, Audi and Ford. Oh, we're not competing. The hell you aren't. Both of you. Come on, And, I think this is not an uncommon move. If you want to go back to the Outsiders debuting in Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, debuting in, now they weren't necessarily like, I'm not saying Daniel Bryan's past his prime. He's a little bit past his prime, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's not over the hill though. He's not like Ric Flair's 30th iteration, his
Evolution.
His second run in TNA. Oh my God. But it's the same move. It's that same sort of move. I mean, TNA did that with Hogan, right? That was the move. Why do they do this? To get audience from WWE. Because even with their diminished ratings, which up and down right now because of things, right? They're still the most watched wrestling product on television. This is a company, I've said it for the past 7 months now. They made the most money they've ever made in their history last year. They're probably going to equal it this year, if not get more. Who knows, right?
Somehow, some way, yeah.
Right. They're splitting hairs as a result of their $1 billion deals, and I mean they have money. They have coffers from the Saudis, and they haven't done shit in Saudi Arabia in so long, which is thank God. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is the Goliath, and even though AEW has become a bigger David, it's still David. And Daniel Bryan helps you load that slingshot up. There's a solid biblical reference. My dad would be proud. Holy shit.
He would be very proud of you, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see what happens. If all this is to be believed, my guess is at the very end of All Out, we get CM Punk, and somewhere, I don't know if it's at the end, maybe not necessarily the beginning, but somewhere in the Grand Slam show, we get Bryan Danielson. I think that separates them enough. That's about, because it's the 22nd, so it's about 3 weeks apart.
Yeah. So, to your point, I'm cautiously optimistic that both of them are accurate. So we're just gonna play a little game called Just the Tip, just for a second, see how it feels. Just want to make sure. You okay? Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, there goes our PG rating. All right. Well, let's talk about who's actually in AEW. Let's do that for a hot minute. So last night was Fyter Fest Night 2. Jamie, this night was straight fire. Let's roll through this because
holy shit, fire, ladies and gentlemen! Like, wow! I thought night 1 was great, especially with the way it ended with that coffin match. This one dominated.
This one was better. This was better.
I don't want to say it because I love me some All Ego Ethan Page and Darby Allin, but damn. All right, so let's just start with the first match. And of course, it opens with a match, no promos needed, and it is the first Labor of Jericho.
Oh, God, so good.
And this is Chris Jericho versus Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard, and this is where Shawn Spears can use a chair and Mr. Chris Jericho cannot. So
Right.
That is the stipulation. Of course, MJF comes out to be on commentary.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He was perfect on commentary. It was
the labor
classic
joke he
MJF.
made was even he made a joke that was, this is the first labor of Jericho. Now, I don't know, people who might be not know what that means. You might be thinking, oh, is Chris Jabber in labor? I know he looks like he's in labor, but that's not it. It got an audible laugh from JR on the mic. It was great. Yeah. And MJF just rolled with it. He goes, I know, JR, it's funny, right? Yes. And then he just kept going. It was
was great. So this match had lots of goodness. One of the biggest things was for me was there was a Frankensteiner in there.
Mm-hmm.
That got me going. There was an almost a lion tamer, and he flipped it over to regular Walls of Jericho, whatever he's calling it now.
Well, he had the walls, but he had Shawn. Shawn was on his shoulder, on his
all
side.
he had to do is drop down and do a knee. But no, he stepped over. That's some bullshit.
I mean,
bullshit.
He is over 50 and has put on a few pounds. Is not, aerobically. I'm just saying, I'm trying to cut the man some slack.
Nope.
It was close, though. It was close to being a lion tamer. I know.
Yeah.
I saw that. I think Jamie's going to talk about that tonight. Okay.
So Tully Blanchard gets up on the rope for some interference, and here comes Sammy Guevara. Too bad his music didn't hit. But he comes out and he pulls Tully off, and Tully's getting into his face, and Tully acts like he's going to hit him. And then, Sammy doesn't hit his elder and just kind of like, just whatever. And it's cool. But then ending. Here comes the ending. So Shawn wedges a chair between the corner. He picks up Jericho. He tries to do a C4. I think that's his move.
Right, it's like a modified DVD.
Yeah. But by sacking the chair on Jericho's back, Jericho escapes. So he shoves him into the adjacent side that has the chair wedged into it. So he shoved him into the chair. Okay. Spear smacks off that. Jericho smacks him with the juice effect. 1, 2, 3. Your winner of the first labor of Jericho is Chris Jericho. So MJF, of course, is hot about it, and he's irate, and he says that Jericho has anyone else interfere, the deal's off. The deal's off.
Like any of the next 4 labors. So
any of the next 4 labors.
Jericho is on his own, all out, all together.
Yes. So then he says the second labor.
Oh my God!
This is where it gets great.
This labor. Oh my God!
So the second labor is going to be a no DQ match.
Right. Sure. But
against somebody who has robbed a bank without wearing a mask.
I started losing it right at that moment because I knew who he was talking about.
Yes, none other than MLW's Nick Gage, ladies and gentlemen. And he came out. I'm like, oh my God, it's Nick Gage.
He's also the GCW champion.
Yes, GCW champion.
Oh
Nick
my
Gage.
God.
Whew.
This is a sidebar, but there's a fabulous shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees for Matt Cardona because he's the one that last interrupted. He is he had the Scream ghost face costume, and he thought he was acting like John Moxley, and then it was revealed it was him. Jumped Nick Gage at one of their pay-per-views. Anyway, so it's basically, it shows the legs of Cardona, and then Nick Gage's tombstone, freshly buried, and he has a can of PBR between his legs and is pouring it like he's pissing on Nick Gage's grave.
It was perfect. Yes,
it's
I
fantastic.
Love that
Anyway,
yes.
So I throw that out there. You go check it out. Yes, but if you don't know who Nick Gage is, go Google it. Look him up on YouTube.
Deathmatch entrepreneur.
Yeah, if you don't like blood, maybe you don't. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of blood.
Yeah, if you don't like blood, you should not be watching AEW.
Right. You definitely should not be watching.
Go watch
GCW.
the PG shit.
Yeah. So I just that was
So right after that, they have Miro on there saying that there will be no champion after him. It was a typical Miro promo. It was great. After that, we had Doc Gallows with Carl Anderson, the Good Brothers, versus the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian. And I did like his new entrance music, his whole new shtick. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Lots of Frankie chants, which I really enjoyed. unfortunately, due to interference, Frankie Kazarian did lose to Doc Gallows. Doc Gallows was able to hit his bomb finisher on him.
I mean, it's fine. Like, this is probably the dud of the night for me, honestly.
It was. But then it got really good right after it, like instantly. So it kind of made up for it. Right after the match, Good Brothers hit the Magic Killer on Kaz. Omega and Callis come out, and they're doing their usual thing, and then they're getting ready to set up Kazarian because they have him,
I'm strung out.
strung out.
Omega's gonna hit him or do something.
Yeah, Omega's gonna do the V trigger on him, and then here his Adam Hangman Page's music. He comes out all by himself with a beer in his hand, and this is great. Don Callis is amazing. Oh my God. So he comes out there all by himself, and he's just like, "You're not gonna try to do this there's four of us, and there's only one of you. You can't count." He's like, "I know." He's like, "I know cowboys aren't smart." Like in Dallas, Texas. Like he's basically like.
He made like 3 cowboy jokes, trying to insinuate against the football team Cowboys. He kept going.
Yeah, he's like, are you stupid or drunk? Like, I know all cowboys are stupid or something like that. Like he's kept going with it. Mm-hmm. Then they start fighting. A ruckus ensues. Hangman hits the Good Brothers, and the Doc Gallows hits him in the face, and he gets knocked down. They start to get on him, and then here comes the Dark Order to make the save. Man, it looked good. But then what happened was the best part of it. Carl Anderson was the only part of the Elite that was left in the ring. The Silver and Reynolds hit their finishing move, where it's the kick into the stunner, which I really liked.
Yeah.
And then he was dazed into a buckshot lariat by Adam Hangman Page.
I know. It's like
the crowd went nuts.
Silver's got to be close to coming back. I mean, he was being physical in there, so.
Yeah, it was good to see.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope next week we get Silver and Reynolds along with Grayson. I think it's going to be Silver, Reynolds, Grayson, Uno. With Hangman, but
yeah, I assume it was those 4 that came out, because those were the only 4 that came out. That makes sense. It's like they're 5.
Right.
So, if I didn't say this before, the crowd was absolutely hot.
Oh, the crowd was on everything. They were all over everything all night, and Dark Order's super over. Hangman got the biggest pop of the night, probably. This was.
There might have been one person who got one a little higher, and we'll go into that. It's debatable. It's debatable. It's debatable.
It's close. It's up there. It's up there. But Dark Order got a super big pop, and I loved it. It was
big ass pop. So after that, there's a Brian Cage FTW thing. Whatever. Not getting into that.
Yeah, something's going on next week. Who cares?
Wheeler Yuta with Orange Cassidy versus Darby Allin and Sting. The match was good, but the whole thing for the match for me was the Orange Cassidy Sting interaction.
Yes.
That was the match piece for me. It was literally, so as you know, Orange Cassidy does the little kicks on the shins. Well, he goes face to face with Sting, and Sting actually initiates it with him. And Sting just hits it, and everybody's like, "Oh!" Then he does it, and then they both back up to do the baby super kicks. They touch him, and they're like, "Oh!" And then Sting just does the laziest chest beat of all time.
Yeah,
he's just like.
It was perfect. It was memeable. So it was just like, because they had to stare down for a hot second. Yeah. They both had their spoiler guy. Stare down for a hot second, and then Cassie does the thing into his pockets. Mm-hmm. And Sting's just like, all right. Oh!
Yeah, it was so good. After the match, Darby Allin wins. If you're not under a rock, Darby Allin wins. But right after the match, Blade attacks Orange Cassidy. He sucker punches him in the face with the brass knucks. So they're like, "Oh my God, I don't even know if he's gonna be able to compete tonight."
He's getting punched in the face with the brass knucks like 5 times in the last 2 weeks. On Elevation and Dark and last Okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah. So after that, there's a quick little video package about Jon Moxley and Lance Archer, whatever. But this is the one thing that got me really buzzing. I thought there was some more shenanigans afoot tonight, and they may happen, they may not. You'll have to listen to find out.
Ooh.
But they showed Hikuleo of the Bullet Club
Yes.
in a Bullet Club shirt and announced as New Japan's Coolio on TV. They showed him.
I mean, this is not some. I don't want to say it like this, but this is not some, older, established, or like
It's Tama
over
Tonga's
the
brother.
hill. Right, yeah. I don't know how to phrase it without being too much of a dick. So, this is a young, hot, current member of the Bullet Club who, unfortunately, I Twitter's a wasteland. We know it can be a wasteland at times. And if you don't know what, I stumbled across a couple Impact spoilers. Unfortunately, I hate seeing spoilers for tape shows because it's like I want to experience it as I should. So I caught a couple of them. We talked about Jay White, last time showing up in there, and we've been talking about. And here we have a Bullet Club member in the audience, for a live AEW show. So. Things are working. I mean, like I said, these promotions are smart as hell. They're all working with each other. Why the hell not?
Right.
Why
Yeah,
not?
They're
Why
doing it
not?
right.
This isn't 1995 anymore. You can do that. It's okay. Yeah, I dug it.
Yeah. So right after that was the women's AEW World Championship match of Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker, DMD. Now, this one, Britt Baker got a gargantuan pop. Like
The crowd was all over this. And here's the thing. I want your thoughts on the match because I felt the match built slow as hell.
Really?
Yeah. I think the last third of it was great. But I think that the first third or so was just slow as all get up. The middle third was starting to get going, but it was sloppy.
So I disagree. I thought it was very well paced, and I thought it definitely told a good story. I thought it was good storytelling by both of them. I thought it played to both of their strengths of power game versus finesse and technical. Britt has definitely become a lot more of a technical wrestler, since she came back from her injury.
Sure.
And it played very well, and the crowd was in it, man. They were all
they were
this
amped.
match.
They were probably the most. I think they were the most amped for this up into the main event. They were just on edge for the whole thing, which I thought helped a lot. But I don't know. It just like the first the first third was through a commercial break too. That never helps. But
That never helps.
we should. You gotta do it sometimes, right? Whatever. Not when you have one goddamn women's match, though. Stop it. More women's matches, AEW. One day. But I don't know. It up until like the last third or so, it just felt sloppy. The movesets were there. I mean, there was an obvious 3 count.
Oh yeah. And the crowd jumped.
The crowd
all over
called him hard on it. Like, no, you literally, referee, stopped your arm. You did 1, 2. And she kicked out. She kicked out. It was blatant. And, and here's JR trying to defend the ref, and probably, which I appreciate, but it just felt sloppy. But then the last third got it going.
Yeah. So towards the end, there was a couple times, like there was a reversal city towards the end.
Oh yeah.
Britt got actually hit by the big beast bomb and kicked out of the sumbitch. Mm-hmm. That was really cool. That got the crowd like redonkulous. Oh my god! And then so Nyla's gonna go for another one. She's able to counter and do a quick arm drag roll through into the lockjaw. I really like that lockjaw because it took Nyla a while to actually submit, which really still makes her look strong. So it was a win-win for everybody. But yes, your winner and still AEW Women's Champion is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And my God, I enjoyed the shit out of this match. Britt had the pop of the night. I think we had a good pop, a great pop for Hangman. But man, when Britt hit, she is on a different level than everybody else. And
they were invested in this whole match. I mean, shit, Rebel got a huge pop.
Rebel did, yeah.
Huge pop, right? And they did a whole they did like a whole I don't want to call it a tribute, but it was like a nod to Eddie Guerrero, right? So,
that whole thing, yeah. So
yeah,
so Britt got the belt thrown to her by Rebel. Sorry, Rebel.
Rebel.
Since we're definitely down in Texas, I gotta call her Rebel.
Yeah, you really gotta go even thicker. Rebel.
Rebel. But she grabs it and gives it to Britt, and Britt throws it over to Nyla and just falls down.
Falls over.
Yeah.
But Vicky Guerrero's like holding the ref and like distracting her, which is ironic because it's her late husband, right?
And then Nyla throws it back to Britt, and she's like, "Oh my god!" It's like, I wasn't gonna use it. So it was such a great play on that whole thing.
I know.
So, yeah,
I said I overall like this match. I was gonna say I just felt like the beginning of it was a bit sloppy.
I'll give you maybe in the beginning, but then
fine.
Once they figured it out, it was good. Like right after the commercial break, it was gangbusters.
But this is proof pudding here that they need to invest more in their women's division. And I'm saying they haven't. They have come leaps and bounds. Where they were, 2 years, a year and a half ago is a far cry from where they are now, right? But most of their women's stuff is reserved for like dark and dark elevation. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think they have people there. We haven't seen Sheeta on Dynamite since she lost the title, right?
We haven't seen Thunder Rosa either.
Thunder Rosa was on. She was on Dark, or whichever one aired on Tuesday. Dark. I can't try to get him straight. She was on Dark.
Sheeta's been on Elevation. Jesus.
Elevation, right. And they both have. That's what I'm saying. They've both been on those. And they showed, I remember seeing on Dark, the other night, Thunder Rosa got the biggest pop of the entire Dark, right? Her pop is bigger than half the pops that was going on the main show here. So that's what I'm just saying. It's like, especially if you add more people to it, there's always a chance of Maki Ito one day coming back. Oh, please, Maki Ito. And of course, there's a surprise entrant we have at the confirmed Women's Casino Battle Royal, which we think is going to be.
That's what I was going to say.
We believe it's going to be Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby. So if she comes in, you got potential for the Iconics once they sort their visas out. Yes, you're going to bring those in, but you also got some good pieces here. And think about how great it'd be where you don't have to rely on former WWE, women to control your women's division. Because right now you really don't have any. It's all pretty much not. There's like Serena D is the only one. Well, Ty Conti, NXT. But other than that, it's all pretty much formed in AEW. And I know they got a ton of like young developing talent, right? They have a lot of Mission Pro girls, right? Mm-hmm. Who are generally younger in their careers, which is fine. Some of them are actually still pretty damn good. I'm just saying, if you give them this match proved that in the middle of goddamn Texas, women's match got over probably more than any other match of the night.
Yeah,
that's a sign.
Maybe
AEW.
the final.
The main event. Well, the main events are main events, but any other match besides, like I say.
Yeah,
that's my soapbox. I'll take it off.
No, you're all good. So right after that, we had a press conference between Santana Ortiz versus FTR.
It felt weird.
It was it was cut weird too because it had Ortiz or Santana odd. Going off about where he grew up and then cut. It was not that it was okay. They're fighting next week. That'll be good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It'll be Santana Ortiz with Conan versus FTR with Tully Blanchard. So looking forward to that. So after this was the promo of the night for sure.
By far.
So Andrade El Idolo, I didn't call him Andre this time.
Good job, JR.
He was over. He got a good pop when he came out for sure. And he came out with his associate, and Andrade tells the crowd, Tranquilo.
Tranquilo.
Yeah. And he has a surprise for everyone. And what his big surprise is he has a new executive consultant, none other than Chavo Guerrero Jr.
No,
big
Junior.
pop.
He's just you announced him as just Chavo
Chavo.
Guerrero.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
Chavo
Chavo.
Guerrero.
He's Junior. But,
I'm just saying.
Chavo chants went nuts.
Chavo's here.
Yes.
You called
Chavo.
it. Mark Stradamus over there. You called it like a month ago. La Familia. Anyway.
Yeah, it's starting. So he comes out there. He cuts a little promo. Like, he said that this is the place to be. They have more talent in the men and women in the back, but there's no one more talented than this man right here. And then they start talking, and then right when that happens, Death Triangle's music hits. Boom! And the place just goes ape shit right there too. This is the thing that I love most about this thing. I didn't understand a word of it, and it's fine. But I love the fact that AEW let these Hispanic wrestlers speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Like, they cut promos to each other in Spanish.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked to. I'm sorry.
Let them be them. Like, and
Exactly.
AEW's definitely all about that, and it was great. And the crowd that was there that know how to speak Spanish,
Texas,
they were
yeah.
in it. Yeah, they were Texas, so they're
This
like,
is Texas. A lot of them speak Spanish.
Oh, yeah, it was so good. And
And the thing is, Andrade's working hard, and we know this. He's working hard to be better as English. He's been doing that since he was in WWE, right? And sorry, this is not the man's first language, and learning a language is tough. When you're learning as an adult, it's harder. And give the man a little slack. He's trying to get there, but when you're doing a wrestling promo, it's not something that you could take your time with. You have 35 seconds, go. So, I mean, that's why. I'll be honest. That's why Chavo's there, right?
yeah,
He's your interpreter because he flat out said that too. But I'll get to. Let them talk, and because you don't have to understand the words to see the emotions. And you see in Pentagon and Andrade go back and forth in Spanish, and you could feel it.
Yeah, so basically, like, Andrade is saying he's an elite superstar in Spanish, and he says that Death Triangle should work for him. Like, you work for me.
No.
Sorry. So sorry. Ray Phoenix and Pentagon.
Yes.
Work
there you
for
go.
me.
The Lucha Brothers. They need to stop working for Pac and work for him.
And then Pac's like, no, they don't work for me. We're family. We're a family, which gets me to my Mi Familia thing.
They're setting it up. They absolutely
they're
are.
so setting up the Mi Familia. So if an AEW person has watched this and took my idea, I will gladly just take a couple free T-shirts and maybe some free tickets when you come to Kansas City. It's fine.
Or St. Louis.
Or St. Louis. Anywhere within a 4-hour, 8-hour drive.
Anywhere in Missouri would do it. All right.
Yeah, Missouri. Anyway, so then they start talking back and forth again. Penta says that, they're on a different level than him, and I love that because then you got Andre Abrahantes. Alex Abrahantes is like, Penta says, and the crowd
And that got over too. It was good.
So, like, the crowd was just so into it.
Abrahantes is loving being an actual in front of the crowd performer. Rather, he is eating it up. You can see it in him whenever he's out there. I love it.
So then Death Triangle gets up on the ring. Andrade and his crew go away. But it definitely seems like they're totally setting up the Mi Familia, and Pac's going to get turned on by the Lucha Bros.
Yeah.
They're going to come in. Here comes Diamante. Like, we have this big Latin faction, and I am here for it.
I mean,
oh my God.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that I'm just thinking about, the match between Pac and Andrade alone.
Oh
I know, right? I know. Just splooge. It's like, oh God, yeah. I'll go for it. I don't care. It's a sploosh moment for sure.
Yeah. In the immortal words of the Lonely Island, jizz in my pants.
I mean, and Mi Familia is great, and you might even get some other stuff too with Penta versus Andrade. Oh my God, if they did Penta versus I'm fancy booking now. I say Penta versus Andrade in
Phoenix versus Andrade.
Either one of them, in somewhere in Mexico, like in Guadalajara or something. Oh my God. Anyway, no, stop it, JJ.
AAA, yeah.
Point being, that match, but Pac versus Andrade is going to just shatter minds. And yeah, I'm with you. I think we all know this is coming. This is the play. I hope they bring in Diamante too. If you haven't not been watching Dark and Dark Elevation, check it out. She's got a great storyline feud going on with Swole right now, which both of them deserve the airtime. So
yes.
I love every second of that because Diamante kind of, she took a little time off, and then I love seeing them because they're both fantastic. But yeah,
she got cut too. Have you noticed? Like, she's more ripped than she's ever been.
She has been. Yeah, she's definitely been hitting the gym. I mean, her and Statlander did the same thing. So good on them. I mean, hey, but I think that'd be fantastic. We got. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna, whoever this extra is they have with him, they're gonna get rid of him. So you got Andrade, Chavo. So you pull in the Lucha Brothers. You get in Diamante in there, so you have a female going on. Mm-hmm. That's a group right there. That's a stacked group.
I'm in. I'm all here for it. 100%.
That reminds me a lot of like the best iteration of LAX. When they had Thea Trinidad and what was she? She was Sarita, and they had Rosita and Sarita, along with Hernandez
and Homicide,
and there was one other one.
Conan.
I think Conan was gone by then. He was out of TNA. He might have still been there too.
I think he was there.
But it was the best iteration of LAX. So let's see what happens. This is promo of the night. I'm with you. I loved every second of it.
So then after that, you didn't have a great promo, but whatever. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express talk about the Hardy family office, blah blah blah. They're gonna have a tag match.
Still going on.
Dumb. QT Marshall wants an apology next week from Cody. Next week, and not Cody. With Schiavone.
He's gonna apologize to Tony Schiavone for dumping coffee.
Yeah, you're gonna get an apology. So you're gonna hear an apology. Not saying he's gonna do
don't care. This is another one that's like whatever.
All right, then we have a match between Blade and Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy coming out to "Where's My Mind" by the Pixies. Make sure I call that out every damn time because I wrote
down the Butcher. Why did I do that?
I don't know. It's the Blade.
It was because I missed the Butcher.
I do. Is he hurt or something? I don't know.
Yeah. He had surgery on something a little bit ago. He's getting close to getting ready because he was at a Republic of Lucha event. They had a thing there, and he got cut. He's like he was losing weight before he got hurt, but he is like ripped now. So
I mean, he was always a big dude, but he's had the big belly to match the bigness.
He's got like he looks good. So he's got to be getting close.
Yeah, so this match was fairly good, is obvious all the way through. This is a very WWE type of match.
Very much.
Orange Cassidy gets the win. At the end, of course, Blade had the brass knucks and was going to hit Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy was able to duck it. He tried to do a orange punch, missed it, did another one right after it. Boom, 1, 2, 3. He gets the win. Then right after that, he picks up the orange knucks, puts them on, does a Superman punch. Because Vince's frustration, almost in a heel move, honestly, the way it kind of felt. But then he held the guy's hand held up, and then he was all good. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, Orange Cassidy is your winner. After that, Marvez is with Jericho. Jericho says next week, since it's a no DQ, he's going against Nick Gage, and he's going against somebody brutal and everything. So he's going to bring out the most brutal and vicious version of himself, and it's the Painmaker.
The New Japan version. Variant.
New Japan Painmaker will be going against Nick Gage next week. So that should be actually very entertaining.
I like the continuity of Jericho pulling up former alter egos of his own. Mm-hmm. I do like that.
So this next thing that got announced kind of made me mad because I kind of wanted to build a little bit more, but I'm okay with it. It's revealed that Malachi Black will take on Cody Rhodes August 4th.
Right. Yeah. They went through the whole card basically for next week, and then what they have coming up after that. Which, by the way, next week, Hikuleo. It's tough. It's Pacific Island, and I do bad. Anyway, him, that guy,
That
Bullet
guy.
Club,
Tama's brother.
He's going to face off against whoever the winner of the IWGP US title match is, because he's next in line next week.
Yes.
So there's that. And then they see the Malachi Black thing.
So I was kind of hoping that they would save that match for All Out, and they still might do some iteration of it at All Out. We'll see.
This is one instance. Like, there's a couple of things. We generally, it's very interesting. I saw a stat about this. Someone says to Tony Khan, and we generally say good thing that they don't 50-50 book, right? Mm-hmm. That's all AEW, that's all WWE does, right? Shit, Malachi was quoted as saying that today, which in the no shit Sherlock headline of the day, is a bunch of crappy 50-50. Yeah, we know it's 50-50 booking. It's worse than that sometimes, but 50-50 booking is not necessarily a bad thing depending on the feud.
Yeah,
we just said the whole Andrade and Death Triangle thing. You can chop that up and 50-50 book that to death because it's not going to get old. Certain things we want to see every night of the week, right? And this is one of them. I would love to see a series of matches keep the feud going between Malachi and Cody until you can put Malachi in a title picture of some sort, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go. I'm good. I'm good with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's happening August 4th. So, all right. Main event time. We have Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer in a Texas death match.
So they explained, thank God.
So the rules of a Texas death match, for all those who are uninformed, is you cannot win by pinfall or submission. Your person has to be, it's basically like a last man standing.
Well, you can win by submission.
You can win by submission. You can't win by pinfall. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my fault. It's a last man standing with the ability to submit. No pinning. Pinning does not work in this one. And
pinning no worky.
Lance Archer got a huge ass pop because he is from Dallas, Texas. As soon as they said Lance Archer from Dallas, Texas, and people went nuts. But as soon as they said that, Jon Moxley backed him.
He's
like bam, like I'll let you get your quick pop. Let's go. And holy shit, this match.
Oh, fast and furious from the start.
It was on fire the whole.
I mean, we could talk
time.
for an hour, half hour on this match. Let's just go a couple of highlights of it. Let's just do that. What were a couple of your highlights? I'll do a couple of my highlights.
So one of my biggest highlights was there was a spot where Lance Archer had two chairs and he was going to do his blackout onto it.
Yeah.
And Moxley was able to jump off. He hit it wasn't
he hit a move.
He hit a move. I think it was a DDT, maybe not his normal. But then he decided to flip the chairs around so the pointy ends are touching.
Yeah, they're back to back.
The back to back instead
that,
of bottom to bottom. It was like this. Well, he was going to do a suplex on Lance Archer. Lance Archer was able to block it, and then he did a power bomb onto it. He power bombed Moxley, and Moxley just landed straight. It's like. And then it fell. It's like, oh my god!
Oh, yes, that move was good. It started with a fury. So you had a fork pulled in within the first 3 minutes, right?
Yes.
And just immediate forks going into town there. Then they go up into the crowd, and then as they're walking back in, obviously a plant, we know, but Archer picks up a fan and uses the fan as a projectile, throws him at Moxley. I love it because it's continuity from the Murder Hawk Monster who just walks out and beats up some random person, right? I love it. It's great.
Best iteration. This is the best iteration of Lance Archer.
This is perfect. This is perfect. Not too much talking. Not just smash.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Don't Braun Strowman him. Make him be him.
He's not a total heel, but he's not a total face.
Yeah,
he's very much a heel-ish middle guy, which is fine.
I like those kind of guys. All right. So my other big part was at the very end. The very end was
the barbed
great.
wire.
Yeah, so...
Yep, that's it. That's the best. There's a ton of great stuff. Go check out the replay. Go check out highlights on YouTube. It's great.
So there are two tables that have already been set up on the outside of the ring.
Right.
Well, Moxley goes and grabs the sheets of barbed wire, the black the black boards with
plywood
the barbed wire on
plywood with rolls of barbed wire stapled on it.
So he puts them up on both of the tables there, sitting side by side next to each other, very reminiscent of their match in Japan, which without the barbed wire.
Right. That's how he won the belt from him. He did the paradigm shift through the two tables.
Yes, and he was going to go for a paradigm shift through the tables, but out of nowhere, Lance Archer just busts out the fork and just pounds freaking Moxley's head like, like he's just going after it. Like, it was just crazy. Then he was able
it was like a prison shift, just like, beep, 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 just like.
Yeah, it was insane. Then he was able to choke slam Moxley through the tables. And Moxley was unable to get out of the 10 count. And we have a new IWGP United States champion in one Lance Archer, ladies and gentlemen.
Good on them.
Oh, my goodness.
So this is a New Japan title changing hands on AEW.
Yes, insane.
So good.
But then right after that, Hikuleo. I had it right the first time.
We're going to get this. We'll get it by next week. We promise. At least, or Jamie will. I won't.
It's Hikuleo. Hikuleo comes out.
Hikuleo. Good.
They stand face to face. And the thing was, like...
Did you know he was that big?
Not at all.
I didn't either.
I thought he was going to be like Tama, and the other ones are like 6'2", 6'3", decent size. Oh, no. This is a big motherfucker, ladies and gentlemen.
He might be a half-inch taller than Archer.
Archer was 6'7".
He had more hair.
Yeah, Archer's 6'7". They built him at 6'9", and I believe it because he looked massive.
It's going to be a and that's next week. We can see that in North Carolina.
Where?
North Carolina.
There it is.
Along with Kenny Omega doing an actual match, so we get to hear that they're not going to pass that up, right?
Yeah.
But the 10-man tag is next week. You get the IWGP third straight week with an IWGP title, U.S. title defense. But Hikuleo versus Archer. And then you got a bunch of like tag matches. You have the whole Christian and Jungle Jurassic Express versus Hardy Family Office. A bunch of stuff. So card next week.
Elite versus Dark Order. Cannot wait for that.
Elimination. It's the elimination one. You got the second Labor of Jericho going on too. Yep. Which, oh my God. So you got a New Japan title with a Bullet Club member and Nick frickin' Gage on Dynamite next week. And that's not even none of those in the main event either. The main event is just bonkers. 10-man elimination tag match with 2 title pictures hanging in the balance.
It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, ladies and gentlemen.
It absolutely is. So do you want to grade this show?
Spotfest.
I'm gonna go Spotfest.
I want to give it a total. But there was a couple ihs in there.
If they would a couple matches like the Wheeler Utah and what a couple of those matches, you would have cut a couple of the promos out, put another women's match in there. I might give this a total, but yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, like Tay Conti versus Thunder Rosa.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
How about we get all three? How about we get Tay Conti, Thunder Rosa, and Cheetah doing a triple threat number 1 contender match?
They are 2, 3, and 4.
I mean, Tony, I'm booking. I'm now working
3, 4,
creative
5,
for you. Who cares? Put those 3 in a match. It'd be fantastic.
I don't think we've had too many triple threats on AEW. The only time you have 3 people is usually a trios tag match.
Right. Now they've done 4 ways though.
Yeah, they've done lots of 4 ways.
Lots of women 4 ways too.
Yeah, but I don't think I've seen too many triple threats, to be honest.
I maybe 1 or 2 that I can if I really thought hard. Interesting.
And ladies and gentlemen, just so you're aware, it's not gay if it's in a 3-way.
All right, tell us what you guys thought of the episode. We both give it a spot fest.
Hey, I'm on the Long Island.
We're moving swiftly away from whatever you're getting at.
I'm the Lonely Island guy.
Right,
Lonely Island today.
That's all right. Okay, so we both thought of the Spotfest. Give us a comment down below. What did you guys think of the show? What was your favorite moment? Did you like Archer winning? Did you love the whole Mi Familia angle? What are your thoughts? All right. So that was AEW. We'll talk about Fight for the Fallen, which is the next week's show. I'll talk about that next Thursday. So before we get to, we have one final thing. Before we get to that, I want to real briefly just kind of gloss over NXT, because NXT did happen Tuesday night. By the way, I don't know if you saw this or not, but I saw the numbers for NXT this past week.
Oh, all right.
And it's interesting because of this story that I'm going to mention here. So the numbers for NXT up 709.
Oh.
It's actually one of their highest ratings in months. And I found this interesting because it competed directly against the final game in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, Game 7 or Game 6. Sorry,
Game 6 where the Bucks won.
Yep.
Which, I mean, I'm not really an NBA fan, but I was born in Milwaukee, so as a native son, I'm kind of like, yay, go Bucks. Yeah, 709. So they were up from 705. Once again, do that hard work, slowly build it. Good for them. Now I say that's interesting because after Monday night's shit show of Karrion Kross, right? And we just tore that apart. If you haven't heard us last time, go back and listen to it as well, because we just eviscerated Vince for it, deservedly so. Apparently, there's people are talking, saying that this is all indicative because Vince knows very much what he's doing, and him and the other higher ups, our favorite redneck and Kevin Dunn, view NXT as a department, as a developmental branch, not an actual brand. That's the way they legitimately view it. That's why you have Tegan Nox out of nowhere returning and immediately going to, after the return, immediately going up to SmackDown. They don't view it as this. So was this all done to send a message to Triple H and everybody else that's like, no, you're still the little guy, right? Probably, but we don't know. NXT actually was not bad. I mean, you could tell they're definitely doing the slow work of getting everything built, right? Because they're really working hard on some of the younger talents they got going there. Some of the younger concepts, I want to say, not talents. So like Hitbo, and I'm gonna continue to call them Hitbo until they change their goddamn logo. I'll say that every freaking time. It drives me insane. But I mean, they're fantastic, and they're feuding against Legado. And they had a little show off because Legado was going to come out and do like a little mariachi thing. And he sends the mariachi guys away and starts going into it and cuts a really good promo. And it's responded by the Hit Row guys. They all come out and, they talk shit on them and then they beat them up. So, you're setting everything up for Santos versus Swerve, who we've seen them fight, the two of them, and they've been excellent fights before, so it should be another good match. The show kind of centered around the whole Samoa Joe thing. I saw a report today that apparently the next takeover, the main event's going to be Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross. That's Samoa Joe's in-ring return for the NXT title. That's how they're going to get the belt off of him, and I almost guarantee he's permanently on Raw the next night.
Yep.
They did announce that the next takeover is going to be the 22nd of August, so the weekend of SummerSlam.
Okay.
So we gotta get ready for both of those. We got 2 belts coming up, Megan. You gotta defend twice, 2 belts.
Well, she's got to defend one. She's trying to win the other because the other one's held by the young boy.
That's right.
He's got the
young
WWE
young boy took the belt and ran. He did a CM Punk on the WWE title. Go figure. Now, you had a couple other matches in there which were fine. Colorado beat Austin Theory. They're setting up a Fallout angle for the Way with Austin Theory. They're all infighting, and Austin Theory saying this family's falling apart and stuff. So that's interesting. They had Frankie Monet come out. She did a squash against JC.
Oh, hold on though. But if he wants to kiss
Dexter. Yeah. Yeah.
Dexter.
Indy's projecting onto him too. Like, she's not admitting what she's doing. She's
Sorry, I just love that. I love that line. If he wants to kiss Dexter,
she'll let him in. And Karen's like, see what she's doing? She's projecting. This is why we need a therapist. And Johnny doesn't want to do a therapist. And Yeah, because he didn't like the
Another
therapist
therapy.
last time because
Yeah.
even though he bought her off. Go figure. Frankie Monet, she squashed the JC Jane, and this is all they're doing. Okay, so I like the idea, especially with Aaliyah probably going to be on Raw, right? That you have Jessica Maya came out with Frankie Monet, and then a little bit later, here comes stumbling out Robert Stone. He's trying to tag along and trying to be part of them, right? He's trying to keep his relevancy. But you had Mandy Rose come down in the middle of the match and kind of just sit seductively on the announcer's table while the match is going on. And then she disappeared after the match. It's like, okay, Mandy Rose versus Monet. That's what you're doing, right? That's what you're doing. Just do that. I feel like this is too slow.
Make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. The breakout tournament went on again. You had Odyssey Jones beat Andre Chase. Odyssey Jones looks good. He looks like a little different variant of Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Basically, he's like 6'6" and like 380, but he's athletic. I mean, it's a good looking guy. The other thing that you had here before I get to the main event was the LA Knight Cameron Grimes saga. It just continues on in gloriousness. So
Yes,
you get a promo earlier in the night of them arriving at the arena, and they're driving in Cameron Grimes' Corvette, right? Or Cameron Grimes, LA Knight's Corvette, and he goes, "Careful with the car. You know how to drive." He goes, "We would have got here so much faster if we would have taken my Rolls Royce, And he's like, "Whatever, go get the bags." So he goes to the trunk, and for driving from his house to the arena, he has like a full luggage set, like 3 duffel bags, one of the big, like all the luggage. So he's trying to get it out there. He's dropping it all over, and here comes Drake Maverick walking up. So he comes over to help him. He goes, "Oh no, I got this," and that incurs the wrath of LA Knight. So he challenges him to a match later on in the night. So they have the match, and it's actually a very good match because LA can sell anything. He can sell ice to an Eskimo. And Drake, we've talked about him, small, but Rockstar Spud is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
During the match, LA Knight keeps getting distracted with Grimes because he wants Cameron Grimes to take the $1 million title and hold it above his head the whole time. so it could be on his level, on LA's level while he's in the match.
It's so perfect.
It is great what they're doing with this. But anyway, it ends with he goes out there to yell at him because he keeps setting it down to relax his arms or chill or whatever. He's like, "Hold it up. I want you to hold it up." And then he gets kicked by Drake Maverick and his face goes into the title, comes back in the ring. Drake actually pins him. Drake gets the win, which led to LA Knight being very mad and beating the shit out of Drake afterwards. And then then Cameron comes in to like get in between and pulls him off Drake and says, "It's done. It's over. You won. Let's go." He goes, No. You have to punch him. So he makes Cameron Grimes punch him in the face. And you see he's like breaking Cameron Grimes. So Drake Maverick has entered into this whole thing. He's going to, I don't know, be the wedge that gets him to stand up to LA Knight. I don't know what they're going with this. All I know is that TakeOver, my money is on Cameron Grimes getting that belt away from LA Knight, becoming an official WWE champion, and making you buy a Cameron Grimes t-shirt. I'm just saying.
I figured they'd be done and dead now since Reginald's a champion before him.
Reginald never factored into this thing, though. It was never about Reginald. I just didn't like Reginald aside from this, but I never made the gross statement that if something happened, I would go out and get the shirt of that person.
He doesn't even have a shirt, so you're fine.
He's got 3 shirts actually. I looked it up.
Reginald does?
Oh, Reginald, no, Grimes. Okay.
Oh, Grimes got shirts.
Yeah, I'm sure Reginald doesn't have a shirt.
The scratchy ass shirts.
Yep. Some of the later ones weren't terrible. My last Undisputed Era shirt was okay. It wasn't as scratchy. NXT is going to be on Sci-Fi next 2 weeks, by the way, because of the Olympics. Potentially. We'll see. The Olympics are a shit show, so who knows? And then Xia Li versus Raquel Gonzalez was your main event, and
this pissed me off.
This match was very good up to the point where I legitimately thought Xia Li broke her ribs.
Yeah.
It was actually a very good match. And Raquel's done this move 100 times. She goes up to the ring, and as you've seen before, she pops herself up and then does a half spin to come down, like with like a side kind of thing, and she lands hard, like right on the bottom of the bottom side of Xia Li. And Medical came out, and you could tell it was above and beyond script. The Medical coming out because, yeah, it took a while for them to clear her. And then immediately she got power slam, pin, over, done.
Mm-hmm. I
thought, and the report is she's just bruised up, that she's fine, But it looked like especially her immediate reaction, it looked like she was in bad shape. So I don't know if that caused a change to the ending or what, but it is what it is. And then, of course, you end the night with more Samoa Joe. He comes out, calls out Cross again. Cross actually has shown that he's beaten up Regal outside. He gets in his car and leaves. As lightning goes off, it was perfect timing. But, I mean, I'm fine with that, I guess. The problem is that, you said it, they buried the NXT title holder on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's going to
worth
Raw.
Nothing. Yeah.
Mostly, yes. But they made him absolutely worthless. He's not undefeated anymore.
Nope.
We know he's going to be in Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he even here? Why?
I don't know.
Have him job the title to whoever. He should have given it to Johnny Gargano last week.
Yeah.
Everybody knew this was coming.
He should just Lesnar it and just take it and walk off. And they bust out a new belt.
Sure.
Or strip him.
I say you strip him. He keeps going on there, and it's like he's not honoring his commitments to NXT, so you strip him of the title.
Well, him attacking Regal, that's an easy out.
That's a good way to strip him. I mean, but apparently, from what I read too on Wrestling Inc., they said that Joe's in-ring return was confirmed for Takeover on about a month's time. Against Karrion Kross. So,
yeah,
whatever. I don't know. It was a fine episode of NXT. But it wasn't their greatest. They're doing lots of setup. I want to see them get to the point a little bit more though. So that was NXT. That was AEW. What else do you have tonight, Jamie?
So speaking of NXT, I would like to personally wish one of their producers a very, very happy birthday today. Today's birthday is none other than arguably the greatest wrestler of all time, at least in my heart. One, Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid.
HBK.
So, since it's his birthday, I thought it'd be fun if we just walk down memory lane and let's rank some of his matches. How about you and I rank his top 3 matches of all time?
Oh my God, that's
impossible.
Welcome to the Impossible Game, folks. All right, I'm just going to throw out some matches here to kind of get the ball rolling to think about it. Okay. You have to put in there the ladder match first, which I refer to as the first ever ladder match. It might have been in other promotions before. It was the first one WWE for sure. Him and Razor Ramon, WrestleMania 8, 9.
I want to say it was like 7. I thought you were right with 7.
I don't think it was 7 because, let's see, WrestleMania 6 was, I think it was either 8 or 9.
10? WrestleMania 10.
WrestleMania 10. Was that the, okay, 10. I was close. But anyway, that I think you got to put up there. He was the first Royal Rumble entrant to go the whole distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would put that in the consideration.
He was the only one until Edge.
Ric Flair.
Oh, Ric Flair, sorry.
Well, he came out 3, I think.
Yeah.
Or was he 2? He might have been 2.
I thought Flair was 3.
He might have been 3. Throw some other matches at me. Come on. This is your guy. You should know all the matches.
Oh, I got a bunch.
Well, I'm trying to remember because remember there's a good swath there where I didn't watch WWE. So I only know of some matches. I might have only seen some things. I can't. It's not something I'll like recall because I didn't have the affinity towards especially like once you get into like the middle '90s. I'd given up on WWE altogether. I'd given up on wrestling for a hot minute there until WCW's big rise and then NWO, and I was anti WWE at that time. I didn't want to watch any of that shit.
Yeah.
So there's definitely matches that I had to go back and catch years after the fact.
The 60-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
The Taker. Either one of them, Michaels, Taker, WrestleManias.
I'll take the first. I'll take the first of those.
Oh, I'll take the second. I like the second one better.
Oh, okay.
Him versus Flair, the retirement match.
I wouldn't put that on one of his best matches, to be honest with you. I think it's got the good story, but I wouldn't put it up there as like the best of his. When you're talking about like straight wrestling matches.
Him, Stone Cold, WrestleMania 13, 14.
Yeah.
That's one that had Tyson there.
Right. Yeah. 14. That was 14.
14.
That one you got to put on there because that's really turned. That is actually what turned the tide. That WrestleMania turned the tide for the Monday Night Wars. Kevin Nash actually made mention of that on the Broken Skulls sessions.
He sure did. He's like, that's the moment he knew. They lost. They're like, oh shit, Tyson's on TV. Like, we knew it was over right then and there.
Right. Because WWE was getting whooped, and then that Mania happened, and then it was back and forth, and then
WCW. So my 3-1.
Okay, go.
Okay, so my number 3 will be the 60-man Iron Man match. I think that was an absolutely amazing match between him and Bret Hart. The excellence of execution. Such a good match.
Okay.
The second one, I could put the Montreal Screwjob in there because it just has. It is such an iconic moment, but not necessarily the best of matches. And so I'm going to go with Michaels Taker 2. That is the one that he officially lost and retired on. That is the one that was one of his best matches I think I can ever remember. And then my number 1 is not the ladder match.
What is your number 1?
Him and Jericho, WrestleMania 20.
Okay.
That match stole the show. It was the best damn match I think I've ever seen. It just was amazing.
It didn't hurt how your two favorite wrestlers too.
Yeah. I might be a little biased.
I mean, just a little bit biased. It was a very good match. I would say ladder match number 1.
Okay,
for me,
that's fair.
Just because of the significance of it. If that match bombed, wrestling today would look drastically different. The Attitude Era would look drastically different. Somebody would have come up with a ladder match, but it might have been for a different company, and that company might have won. Because I think So I think that for me would be the number 1. I would put in there probably. As I said, I like him and Taker 1 better. So I do that as my number 2.
Okay, that's fair.
And then I'm split on the Royal Rumble where he went the distance. No, I have to do the WrestleMania 14 match.
Yeah.
That's probably the best match out there. I put that number 2, then I put him and Taker 1 at number 3. Him and Taker always did wonderful, but I like the first one better. The second one I think was almost as good. I didn't, but I think the ending broke kayfabe a little too much. You always save that for the night after, sort of thing.
Yeah, but it was very touching, and I liked it.
Well, having Triple H there was good too. I felt for that second one, but I don't know. I think that's why I like the first one better because it was more pure. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. Like most of the 2 of the 3 matches on my list, he lost.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have to win them. One of my favorite Abyss matches, because Abyss is my favorite from old TNA, was the Monsters Ball where he had the Swanton from the heavens done on him, and he lost that. And still one of my favorite matches featuring him. So they don't have to win everyone. They don't have to win the match for it to be one of their best matches. They don't.
Yeah, and Jericho Michaels was 19. And that one was by far the best match of that show.
Mm-hmm.
By far. It was like it was a wrestling clinic. If anybody's aspiring to become a wrestler or anything like that, watch that match. Because damn.
Well, there you go. Okay, you guys get in the action. Let us know. Give us a tweet at Total Spotfest or hit up the comment down below. What are some of your favorite HBK moments? I'm gonna go with moments, not just matches. We can say give us your favorite match, but give us some of your favorite moments. I mean, this is the man who pioneered for WWE the shock breakup, the shock heel turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
barbershop, baby.
I mean, in that drastic of a fashion, I couldn't believe it. And on Saturday Night TV too, it was unbelievable. But the zip line, which
it's iconic.
The screw job, DX. We didn't even mention anything with him in DX, although because the initial run at DX, that was right before he went to rehab. So, I mean, physical and other. So it is what it is.
I mean, that match against in WrestleMania 14, that was his last match as a DX member for a long time.
It was because he went and had some serious work done. Wasn't it his knee or
back.
His leg?
His back.
His back. That's what it was. Yeah. He had a cascade of surgeries, and while he was doing that, he also got cleaned up because he was drinking a lot.
Yeah, and he was a big fan of the nose candy.
Yeah. There's a lot of them were at that time. So.
Yes, they were.
Give us your thoughts down below. Give us a tweet. Let us know what are some of your favorite HBK moments. So it was fun. Yeah, we'll pull in a random wrestler at times. Apparently, that's what we're gonna do now. So, all right, we'll be back on Tuesday. We're gonna talk about Impact. As I said, I already know one spoiler, unfortunately. It's a good one, though. It's one where you're going to want to invest time to kind of watch what happens on Impact this week, Jamie. That's
nice.
all
Okay.
And then we'll see what happens with WWE. Who knows? But we'll talk about news and things going on. I'm not gonna watch it, but I'll read the dirt sheets. But we'll be back on Thursday, talk about next week's show is going to be even more bonkers, I think, than this week's Fyter Fest. I agree.
I agree. They keep every week so far.
They said they were going to do that, and
they are not lying. It makes All Out that much more crazy. Yeah, I cannot.
By the time we get to All Out, it might just be. I don't even know. People are going to be running around spontaneously combusting. It's who knows? So we will be back with that. Quick reminder here: we're about 8 days away from Journey Pro KC's 78 weeks later. If you don't think we're going to talk all about that on the Tuesday after, you don't know us very well. So
exactly.
we're gonna dedicate most of the time, as a matter of fact, to Journey Pro on that Tuesday. So be forewarned, that's coming. We got some pay-per-views coming up next month. We'll just definitely keep you guys updated because we'll have some special. We'll probably do a special show for SummerSlam weekend for Takeover SummerSlam. Keep it separate, So keep an eye out for that. But that's what we got. Thank you for joining us, Jamie. Why don't you take us home?
All right. Well. Again, happy birthday, Shawn Michaels. And if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 2 words for you. Mi familia.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Buenos tardes.